and give them an opportunity. I've got Judge Barker, I've got Cynthia, I hope I pronounced this right, Savage, and Jeff Dean, and give them an opportunity to come up and just kind of talk a little bit about themselves and why they need your support. So, Judge.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am Judge Pam Barker. I am one of 34 judges in the Court of Common Pleas of Cuyahoga County. The General Division, we handle all felonies and all civil matters with no dollar limit. We are your state trial court. I have been on the bench since September of 2011, having been appointed by Governor Kasich in that position, and actually then won in 2012 to retain my seat. I am up again in the general election. I am up for re-election for a 6-year term, and again, that's in the general election. I do not have an opponent in the primary, and but I would still appreciate your consideration for a vote in the primary as well as the general election. By way of background, I've been a Republican all of my life, and I've been a Cuyahoga County resident all of my life. I left Cleveland only to go to Kenyon College, where I majored in political science with honors Phi Beta Kappa and magna cum laude. Then I went to the Ohio State University College of Law, graduated from there in 1982, came back to the Cleveland area, met and married my husband of now 30 years. Then we have 2 sons that are 23 and 27. I practiced law primarily as a civil trial attorney or litigator in courts throughout Northeast Ohio for 28 years. I also was a magistrate for the city of Brecksville for 11 years before I was appointed to the bench in 2011. Like I said, I've been on the bench now for about going on 3 years. Thankfully, during the last election cycle, I got excellent ratings from the Judge for Yourself. I got the plain dealer endorsement as well as other endorsements. And we have a website that you can check out, and I know my bailiff Kim was giving out some pens and files and so forth that contain that website with information that will include our endorsements, and I can say proudly that I'm endorsed by Jack Schron and Dave Greenspan and Ann Baker and Marlene Danielski and other mayors and individuals, and I'm very proud and thankful for those endorsements. I've worked hard on the bench. I think my most infamous moment was when I asked Ariel Castro to hold his head up and look at me and make sure that he opened his eyes. So I think that got the most attention nationally and internationally, but so if you saw that, that was me. Otherwise, what I do on a normal basis is just work hard and ensure that I apply the law consistently and as enacted by our state legislature, and I am a conservative. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Cynthia?
Hard to follow Judge Baker, you know, but we were from the same neighborhood, so we have a lot of the same roots. I am a registered nurse, retired. I came out of nursing school and discovered I was a conservative. Started to read everything, and I realized that Time Magazine and a couple of these other things were not my cup of tea, if you want to say. I started working, my first political action was for George H. Walker Bush, going downtown and making phone calls when I had to get a babysitter. My grandson's now going to college, so that was a long time ago. Worked for Republicans by stuffing envelopes and making phone calls and doing all the things that we all do when we have a lot of time and not much money. Worked against anybody running against Dennis Kucinich. Back in 2009, when the whole Tea Party thing came, my husband and I got in our cars and drove to Washington and became part of an activist society. We started to protest the Obamacare, not the president's policies. We protested because as a registered nurse, I knew what it would do. I had been through Hillary Care. It had negative implications even without becoming law. I saw what this was going to do. I knew what it would do as a small business person. My husband and I have a business. What it would do to business people, what it would do to employment. When you tell somebody if you have 50 employees, you're going to suddenly become targeted. People are going to have 49 employees. That's a no-brainer. When you start to, and it's happening, when you tell people if you have full-time and part-time, you have to give more to the full-time people, that's a no-brainer. We marched, we went to Dennis Kucinich's office, we started a tea party, we held public forums against the, with both sides of the healthcare law, people present. We, paid for advertisement. We did everything that we could to try to stop this from happening. We helped elect Scott Brown, sent money and people to help elect Scott Brown. We tried to help get Norm Coleman elected. We have done everything we possibly could to possibly stop this because it's bad for America. Now I'm no longer an activist in the Tea Party, but I am helping on the West Side with the West Side Republican, West Shore Republicans, the West Lake Republicans, and now we're starting a West Shore Women's Republicans, and trying to get things going for our Republicans, because I do believe we are the answer for America. And because of that, I believe our party desperately needs help. It has forgot its own roots. It wants so bad to move to the middle and win the independence that it forgot it is the energetic party, the party with the answers, the party that can help America get back into a positive, prosperous way. And that's why I'm running for the State Central Committee in District 24. I do have Tom Patton's endorsement. I do have Nan Baker's endorsement. I do have the party endorsement. And I do have CVR endorsement. And I hope and pray I have your endorsement. I know I went over my time, and I'm sorry. And if you would like to share this with your people, because there are more undervotes for the State Central Committee than there are votes. So if you could tell the people who don't know who to vote for, it says I met Cynthia. She's good for the party. Thank you.
Jeff?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Woke up this morning and I went to tie my shoes and my back went. So bear with me as I bear through this. Judge Parker is an excellent judge. We should all vote for her and follow her. I know her husband, Jeff, and these guys are great for the party and keep up the good work. Also, Judge Cole Luca, who's not here, is opposed in the primary, and she's the party endorsed candidate as a judge. So also put her down on your own personal slate, if you would. I think everybody got one of these. I'm not going to go through everything on here, but I will touch on a couple of things in my background. I lived in Solon, so I'm from this area, and I live in Bentleyville right now. I was state representative when I was living here, so I represented, if you were in Solon at the time, you were one of my constituents. And also I served on the State Board of Education, so I was in the House of Representatives under Jim Rhodes, and on the State Board of Education under Bob Taft, and now on the State Central Committee for the Republican Ohio Party under Governor Kasich. And I strongly support Governor Kasich. I don't always agree with everything everybody does. I don't agree with everything the senator does, or the Attorney General, or the Secretary of State. But we have a very good slate. We have a very good group of candidates and office holders in this state. And our job this year, and as a member of the State Central Committee, my job is to make sure that we can re-elect these guys again in 2014 here. We want to do in 2014 what we did in 2010, and that is elect the governor, treasurer, secretary of state, attorney general, and state auditor, and I'm probably missing one or two, and the members of the Ohio Supreme Court, including Judge French and Judge Kennedy. So we have a tall task. When we did it, when we worked on the campaigns 2 years ago, I was the audit chairman following that, and we went through $28 million at the state party budget, and that was a tall task. And so I don't think we're going to do that in the off year like this. In the presidential year, we'll probably do that again in 16. But I hope you'll take a look at my literature, because it kind of gives a summation of my background, and I hope you consider voting for me for State Central Committee, and I am honored to represent you there now. Thank you very much there now.